ACC?
Well, Thursday night I would have said you're crazy, but it all happened in probably 48 hours. We're excited about it. The ACC is a great conference, a great basketball conference. Obviously, we're leaving a great basketball conference, but in today's world, I think it looks like everybody's moving. I think we're going to end up with, you know, what everybody predicted a few years ago, mega conferences, and you know, I'm too old and not smart enough to know if that's going to be a good thing or not. I guess only time will tell. The ideal conferences are, you know, 10 teams in the same area. We don't have that. If the founding fathers were in charge of this, Guatemala and Uruguay would be part of the United States right now. So.
What about the chance to play UNC and Duke every year?
Well, you know, they're great basketball programs. And, you know, I don't really look at a league and just think of one school or two. You know, the conference is great. All the schools in the ACC are great basketball schools. They've all won. They've all been in tournaments. They've all been in Final Fours. It's a great conference. I think, obviously, there's still going to be some more changes, and we'll see where it all ends up. But I believe at the end of the day, the ACC will be one of the best basketball conferences in the country, just like it always has, and we're kind of excited to be part of that.
Jim, you're an original Big East guy. There's got to be some disappointment for you in terms of there's so much history involved with this rivalry.
Well, we've been playing St. John's for the 50 years I've been at Syracuse, and Georgetown for 40. So yeah, there's some nostalgia there. There's some heartbreak, no question about that. But is what it is. You know, things do change. The Big East changed over the years. It's not just the same old little nice conference it was. I'd hate to have left that, but it's different. It's really different today, and you know, that's the landscape. That's what people have decided needs to be done in college sports, and we'll see. We'll look back someday and see if they were right.
For those of us, do you envision a time when you reach out to Georgetown as some of the traditional rivals to try and keep that going, at least in a non-conference?
I'm sure we're going to play some of the schools that we've always played. We will try to. St. John's certainly comes to mind. Georgetown comes to mind. Certainly, I would think that's going to happen.
In the sports world, it seems like coaches come and go at schools quite a bit. You've been at Syracuse for a very long time. How does it feel to have, you know, the stability, the years of experience behind you at one university?
Well, you know, it took 30 or 40 years. They finally figured out I wasn't going anywhere. So most of the critics, well, most of them are dead now. So, you know, they kind of leave me alone. But it's been I've been very lucky to be able to go to Syracuse, stay at Syracuse, and never have to leave. It's been a great place. It's a great school. It's a great basketball school, and we've had a great run. A lot of nostalgia leaving behind, but we'll make some great memories, I think, in the future.
You have Birmingham family ties, don't you?
Yeah, I'm here with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and they talked me into coming down here during football season. I don't know how, but here I am in the middle of the SEC now. They don't like basketball or the North too much, and now I'm in the ACC, so I don't know. They might not like that either.
I was just going to say, what do you say? I mean, a lot of these folks are Alabama and Auburn fans. They both have young coaches, Anthony Grant and Tony Barbie. Anything you know about those guys, or what do you say to these folks who are hoping for basketball relevancy?
They have two great young coaches. Both Auburn and Alabama have great young coaches, and when people support a program, I think somebody a lot smarter than me once said that if you have good fan support, you can have a good program anywhere, and I believe that's true. You know, Connecticut was not a big program, but they always had great fan support, and then Jim Calhoun took over and built it into a national power. So Auburn and Alabama can be great in basketball. They have tremendous fan support potential and great players in the area, two great young coaches. They'll do very well.
Back to expansion, so many of these decisions are made with football in mind.
Not so many, all.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask
you
about.
Let's be blunt.
Sure.
Two things, money and football.
Yeah, as a basketball coach, and even a school like Kansas could sort of be left out there. It's a top elite 5 basketball program.
They'll end up somewhere. Kansas will end up somewhere. I think everybody will end up somewhere. Maybe it's not as pretty as they'd like or where they'd like, but everything is being driven by football, has been for the last 20 years. The Big East went from a great 9-team conference to a 17-team conference because of football and money. And it's interesting because 30 years ago, schools made X amount of money. 20 years ago, they made 2X. 10 years ago, they made 4X. Now they're going to make 6X. And you know what? They're going to end up breaking even, just like they did 30 years ago.
Just because there'll be more costs associated with it.
Same thing. Schools may make the same amount of money today they did 30 years ago. Or they end up with the same. Right. They make 10 times, maybe more.
Well, I also wonder if people are thinking even of the costs associated with the travel, additional travel.
Well, it's all there. They think it's all there. In the end of the day, you're at a school with $1 billion budget, and they're talking about making an extra $4 million. What does that really mean when your school's budget is $1 billion? I think that it's just what has happened. People feel that they have to get these mega conferences. Whether they're right or wrong, we won't know. We won't know for a while. To me, I mean, the best conference I think anybody would tell you is 10 schools in a geographical area, fairly close together with good rivalries, and you play everybody once and twice in basketball, you play everybody once in football, and you have your champions, and then play in a tournament. I mean, that's the best case scenario, and we're going as far away from that as we can get, with schools from all over geographic areas getting together. And whether it works, whether it is the right answer, we're not going to know for a long time. I think one of the great things in sports is rivalries, and you know, you get into a 16 football conference and you're Alabama, you're going to be playing what? Texas A&M, you're going to be playing, you know, whoever else. And instead of maybe that year you don't play Tennessee. You know, so I don't know. I don't know the answer. People that are figuring this out must think they have the right answers. And like I said, someday we'll see.
It's got to be frustrating to basketball coaches, I think.
We've been through this. It's not that frustrating now because we have a 17-team basketball league. So, like I said, if we had a nice 10-team league, I'd be more upset. But we don't. We don't have that anymore. It's all changed. You know, we have Marquette and DePaul and, you know, TCU coming in, and who else? Who knows who else coming in?
Can you envision playing an ACC tournament in Madison Square Garden? What that would?
Yeah, I think it'd be good. I think we're going to have northern members. I think we're going to have more northern members. I think it'll, you know, obviously be in the South most of the time, but I think it'll come to New York. I think people would love it. It's a great place for a tournament. It's great for fans, you know. So I think it'll come there, you know, but not often, but it'll come.
Most of the scandal has come in the football side of things with NCAA violations. Number one, do you see any changes to NCAA to make things a little bit easier? I mean, they've got rules on what you can put on a bagel.
Well,
do you see this going to a place where those super conferences eventually leave the NCAA?
Yeah, I don't know. That's too far down the road. I don't know whether that's going to happen. I think they're going to modify the rules, some of the rules, the texting, phone call rules, some of that. But some of the rules, they seem foolish, but some of them are necessary. It's just like a meal. If you let kids go for a meal, you know, it's not a big deal, but in some places they would bring kids 30 straight days to a meal. So, I mean, there's reasons for all the rules, but there's no question we need to try to enforce some of the more serious ones and try to, you know, eliminate some of the ones that maybe we don't need. But, you know, that's all. It's hard when you move an organization of 350 schools, is what we have for basketball. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, and going forward, kids get put into tough situations all the time, and sometimes we forget that they're 19-year-old kids, and somebody offers them something, they're not going to say no, and you know, you just have to get through it as best you can. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered as we move forward, is certainly with this drastic realignment that seems to be coming. There's a lot of questions.
How's the Orange going to be?
We'll be all right.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Coach.